This video is for educational purposes only. I do not share any views of the people that's on this video. Even me. Every time you turn around, wash your hands, you can save somebody's life. Wear a mask, you can save somebody's life. Stay 6 feet away from a motherfucker, you can save their life. Well, I've been saving motherfuckers' life for a year. Well, I've been saving motherfuckers' lives for a whole year and a half. I'm tired of being a damn superhero. Make sure you wash your hands for 30 seconds. Make sure you clean your house every damn day. Make sure you ain't got no boogers in your nose, because boogers carry the Trump juice and you can spread it through snot. Then they told us we could even be a better superhero to our families by not seeing them. Keep your families away from every holiday that family is supposed to come together, and you can be a hero. Don't visit your family in the hospital because you might kill them. Don't let your family come over to the house because they might kill you. And don't have sex with your wife because y'all both might die. Every time I became a damn superhero, it required me taking something away that was supposed to be mine. You want me to save my friends. You want me to stay in the house for 15 days. You want me to bend a damn curve. Then after that 15 days, you throw a nigga another curve and say it's 30 more. And then you complain niggas didn't stay at the house, so you made it all summer. I don't understand how I was a hero. I didn't invite my friends over, stayed in the house, wore a mask, washed my hands, stayed 6 feet away from a motherfucker for a whole year and a half, and now I'm a motherfucking villain. Because think about it, they are denying people who ain't got Trump juice in their system access to every goddamn thing. Football games, traveling, fucking shopping. And guess who is the most unvaccinated people on the face of the United States? Black folks. So they deny access to people who look like me. Remember when Trump juice was first out, it was all about...
No, what I think we must do, and science tells us, is that we must have testing, tracing.
Now it's about ejecting your black ass with the Trump juice. And that has always been the goal of Dr. Fauci.
We have already started at the NIH and with many of our collaborators on the developing of a vaccine.
Hold on, the NIH done started the development. What happened to Madonna, Geico, and Magic Johnson? I thought they was the one developing the Trump juice.
Absolutely, but if Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
What if the people who made Madonna, Geico, and Magic Johnson said it was good and told Donald Trump it was good? Because I'm pretty sure Donald Trump ain't gonna tell people to take the Trump juice if the Trump juice ain't ready. Next!
Right now that's being prepared. I anticipate with some cautious optimism that we will be in a phase 1 trial within the next 3 months.
And this was in January. And Donald Trump cut that 3 months into like a month and a half or some shit like that. I don't know if that was the exact time deduction, but I was just taking an educated guess. Next!
Should Americans take it, and would you take it?
If the public health professionals, if Dr. Fauci, if the doctors tell us that we should take it, I'll be the first in line to take it. Absolutely.
But what in the hell is Dr. Fauci, a damn scientist or a medicine Trump juice designer? Next!
There should be a plan when we have the vaccine. How do we distribute it?
And once we get it, if it's safe, if it's effective, will you mandate its use?
Going into a phase 1 trial does not mean that you have a vaccine that's ready for deployment. It will take 3 months to get into the trial.
That is the question inquiring minds want to fucking know.
3 months to get safety and immunogenicity data, and then you move into phase 2.
And Donald Trump cut them trials into half the time. I don't know, I'm still just educated guessing. Don't get me to line. Well, I think this is the phase that Donald Trump actually cut in half. I know he cut one of them in half, or all of them in half, or maybe one, or it was the first one, or either the second one. But I know it was either one of them, or both of them, or all of them, all 3 of them.
What we do from that point on will be determined by what has happened with the outbreak over those months. Remember, we made a phase 1 trial with SARS, and we never had to use a vaccine.
Ain't that a bitch? I had a one-night stand with a monkey and I never thought I would have to pay child support.
But nonetheless, we are proceeding as if we will have to deploy a vaccine. In other words, we're looking at the worst scenario, that this becomes a bigger outbreak.
My worst scenario is not an outbreak, it's a breakout, when my baby mama broke out the zoo. Next!
But if Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
And ain't that a bitch? And you put all kind of things in your mouth, and you don't know where it's been. Next!
One of the things that can be done, it's certainly not the total solution to the problem, is to to delay, if not cancel, anything that's elective.
They should have canceled the presidential election so a motherfucker could have went to the ballot booth and voted right. Next!
I mean, any medical or surgical procedures that need to be done on an elective basis should not be done.
We don't give a fuck if you need heart surgery, brain surgery, or dick surgery.
We don't want to expose our patients to COVID. We don't know who's been exposed but not yet symptomatic, right? So they could be at risk and not know it. Additionally, we don't want to put ourselves at risk for somebody else who may have COVID.
What about somebody else who got a fucked up heart and need a heart transplant? They don't count?
In anticipation of the fact that beds and equipment that you would use even in an elective situation should be used for people who really need it.
So operations, surgeries, and other medical emergencies is not important.
And the rest of the thing is, patients may not get the care they would otherwise get because there's a tremendous amount of focus on COVID right now.
And no focus on any other medical issue that's happening in America, like cancer and other diseases that kill people.
Even though you don't see that now in certain locations, pretty soon there's going to be a stress on everyone's system.
So you say, but I didn't see.
Tensions are high. People are concerned. Not the time to be having an elective operation done.
Or a time to be having a bad heart, or bad kidneys, or bad lungs, or bad knees, or bad liver, or bad anything else. If you got a runny nose, you can take this motherfucking bed and rest in it.
Health officials, myself included, have said in the past that travel restrictions are not going to stop completely when you have an outbreak. That is a true pandemic.
What in the hell is a false pandemic?
And in light of the new COVID variants that you're learning about, we are instituting now a new measure for individuals flying into the United States from other countries.
Wait a minute, Joe Biden. You putting in a travel ban? I wonder if fake news gonna call your travel ban racist too.
And by the way, when you issued the ban, the virus was already here.
Okay, and you know how many people, when I issued the ban, how many cases of virus were in the United States when I issued the ban? Do you know the number? And maybe that's a question you should ask China. No, how many cases? Remember I said one person. How many cases were here when I issued the ban?
But did you know?
No, you have to do your research. How many?
I did my research. On the 23rd of March, you said you knew this was going to be a pandemic.
Can I tell you what? I did know it. I did know it. All I have to do is look.
So you knew
Anybody knew it. Just, are you ready? Don't ask me. Ask China that question, okay? How many cases were in the United States when I did my ban? How many people had died in the United States?
So do you acknowledge that you didn't think
Keep your voice down, please. Keep your voice down.
Did you not?
You wasn't hollering all that shit when Joe Biden was talking about a damn travel ban.
In addition to wearing masks, everyone flying to the United States from another country will need to test.
But if you walking from south of the border, the gate is wide open. I wonder why he ain't never threatened an illegal immigrant with a damn test. That's later on in the skit. More to come.
How many cases were in the United States? I did a ban where I'm closing up the entire country. How many people died?
And that's a fair point.
How many people died in the United States? And yet I closed up the country, and I believe there were no deaths, 0 deaths. You ask China that question, okay? When you ask them that question, you may get a very unusual answer.
I know what you're thinking. Was that racist? Hell yeah, that was racist. It was meant to be racist, but Donald Trump didn't do it. I edited racist. Blame me, not Trump. Next! How they say Donald Trump travel ban is a failure and Joe Biden travel ban is a success.
But I think most health officials agree that at best it delays and, as the secretary says, kind of pauses things. And that's really the reason and the underlying rationale why that was done.
So it wasn't done to save lives. Why in the hell you didn't mention that?
But I think many public health officials would agree that although it's not perfect that it will stop, it could delay. And what we needed was a delay to essentially prepare better, but also to get a better feel of where this is going.
Was it also done to save lives? Because you keep leaving that out. I'm just asking for a Democrat.
We are reasonably well prepared. We've had a pandemic preparedness plan that we put together years ago. And what the CDC was talking about is taking the process from containment to mitigation.
You just refuse to say saving lives.
And mitigation means to be prepared to do things that would slow down the spread if we had an influx of infections, such as closing schools, social distancing, teleworking, and things like that.
Mitigation? What, you gonna take Trump juice to court? Wait a minute, that's litigation. That's what my baby mama is doing to me for child support. Speaking of things like that, my baby mama is trying to find out how I make my income to slow down my donations from people like Beth Roberts. Beth Roberts, if my baby mama ever call you and ask, is you giving me donations to my Cash App? Hang up in that bitch face. Next! I know she's gonna be lying, talking about my kid needs school clothes. When my kid when my kid is in Zoom learning, all he needs is pajamas.
But some kids have more opportunity learning from home than others, and we have to make sure that as we go forward, if kids are learning from home, that they have the food and the technology to do so.
Beth Roberts, don't believe that hoe. My son got plenty of food because my baby mama get food stamps. And he get plenty of Wi-Fi because he stay next door to McDonald's. He know they passcode.
But in terms of opening up the schools, all children want to go to school. They want to see their friends.
And Beth Roberts, he don't have no friends either. I don't know what the hell Nancy Pelosi is talking about. She can't speak for all parents and kids.
None of the above want them to that to happen unless it is safe. And so for the president to say that he's going to withhold funds from schools that don't open up is completely upside down.
It looked like your face is upside down.
What he should be saying is we're going to pass the HEROES Act, which has $100 billion in order for schools to open up so that they can be safer for children.
Well, my grandmother gave my son a 38, so he pretty safe. He just as prepared as any other kid in the school district of Chicago.
But as I said to you, the intensity of the virus and the spread of it is such that we may need more than that $100 billion, and it will be well worth it.
The first couple of $100 billion wasn't even worth it. How in the hell the next $100 billion gonna be worth it? Next! You out your rabbit ass mind. Give us proof. Where in the hell is the scientist on this?
Facts as to what the status of it is. In order for the children to go back to school, our state and local governments have to function. That's what the HEROES Act is about.
About a couple of $100 billion or more. That's what it's about. It's not about Trump juice. It's about them billions. That's why Dr. Fauci wanted to close schools since the beginning.
We need to start thinking about that now, even though it isn't absolutely necessary to implement it now.
But you sure in the hell will implement it later. Next!
The president said that there will be more deaths, but that the virus will pass, that it is time to reopen the economy. And as we see hotspots spreading across the country, do you agree with him now that it's time to focus more on what he sees as getting back to normal?
And not the new normal either. That shit y'all was hollering about all last year when Trump juice first started. Next!
While Wall Street is booming, Main Street is suffering.
Well, I don't want my baby mama to suffer. I just want it over quick. What kind of person do you think I am? I talk with my hitman.
Almost 100,000 small businesses permanently closed since the pandemic. That's according to Yelp.
And some closed according to Black Lives Matter and Antifa burning the motherfucker down. I don't give a damn if it's a closed casket or not. I just said I wanted it to be quick. I hope my baby mama's casket is closed tighter than the New York Broadway J.C. Penney, because J.C. Penney's and Macy's told a lot of their workers to stay at home.
Those orders cover 75 million people across the United States. New York's governor today telling non-essential businesses in his state to reduce their workforce to zero.
And zero, last time I checked, is less than nothing.
These are not helpful hints. This is not if you really want to be a great citizen. These are legal provisions. They will be enforced.
Because this is a dictatorship. My bad, Andrew Cuomo. I didn't mean to say dick and your name in the same sentence. We know you got a problem with your dick right now.
To avoid the loss of potentially tens of thousands of lives, we must enact an immediate stay-at-home order for the state of Illinois.
We must punish all for the safety of a few. So stay your ass at home. Don't go to work and suffer. You and your damn kids. We don't give a damn if you can't pay rent. They sleeping on the Capitol step builders right now, trying to stop motherfuckers from getting evicted. Well, if they had jobs and they was working, maybe their ass wouldn't be getting convicted right now. Don't blame the Republicans. Don't blame the people. Blame you.
Biba Restaurant, Simpleton Cafe, and Pizza Rock. All businesses that have closed due to the pandemic. And now Andy's Candy in downtown will join the list.
Well, hurry up before Black Lives Matter and Antifa burn it down, because candy is racist.
There will be a civil fine and mandatory closure for any business that is not in compliance.
Besides weed dispensaries and liquor stores, we don't give a fuck if they're in compliance. Damn it, they're in demand.
West Texas, of the local sheriff sending an armored vehicle and SWAT team, look at that thing, to raid a bar that stayed open in defiance of the stay-at-home order.
The liberal stay-at-home order.
Again, your actions can affect my health.
And your actions can affect where my kids sleep.
People are not flying in from out of town for meetings. Offices are just closing up.
And homeless shelters are just opening up.
Fewer corporate orders means less money to pay her 30-plus employees.
Right now, how many people are working today?
I think about 6.
That's like an 86% reduction in staff. That was just another educated guess I was guessing.
It's a challenge. I mean, we've had to send people home.
Can you do your job from home?
No, I can work from home. I'm a cook. I do my work here in the kitchen.
Well, if the Democrats had it their way, you better get your ass a cooking channel on YouTube, because they're about to take your job too. Next!
I'm losing everything. Everything I own is being taken away from me. And they set up a movie company right next to my outdoor patio, which is right over here.
Angela Marsden, owner of Pineapple Hill Saloon and Grill, outraged and emotional.
Well, movie companies is essential workers, because people gotta stay at home and watch movies on Netflix.
Posting this video on social media after she saw production tents and tables set up in a parking lot just a few feet from the outdoor dining area she's not allowed to use.
But she damn sure do pay taxes on.
They have not given us money and they have shut us down. We cannot survive. My staff cannot survive. Look at this.
If they was really trying to help out Americans, they would have just rented out your space so y'all can both win.
Tell me that this is dangerous, but right next to me is a slap in my face.
The Democrats were slapping everybody in the face.
People can go to the store, get out for some solitary exercise, but stop socializing.
We're going to go visit mom. I'm going to bring the home family to see mom. No, not now.
You can go when we tell you to.
This is the most drastic action we can take.
You should be the last nigga talking about some drastic measures after your last Kiss Fest video.
If you look at, by multiple definitions of what a pandemic is, the fact is this is multiple sustained transmissions of a highly infectious agent in multiple regions of the globe.
Damn, it's talking about Trump juice turning Dr. Fauci on. Dr. Fauci sound like a Trump juice freak. Sound like his pants is wet. And speaking of freaks and pants getting wet,
after security footage showed her inside a San Francisco hair salon that's closed to the general public because of coronavirus.
I thought the freeze came out at night, but evidently they come out in the daytime too, to go to hair salons.
The salon's owner releasing security footage to Fox News, telling Fox, quote, "It's like a slap in the face."
Damn, how many people the Democrats gonna slap in the face?
Pelosi today insisting the salon told her it was allowed.
It was clearly a setup.
Well, I can't wait till your ass gets set up by a plastic surgeon.
I take responsibility for falling for a setup by a neighborhood salon that I've gone to for years.
And you don't owe them an apology.
Well, I don't. I think that that this salon owes me an apology.
Even though I made up the laws and wrote the laws, hell, she broke the laws. Next! She owed me an apology. And Lori Lightfoot owed me an apology.
But I, as an elected official in the public face of the city, need to make sure that I am out there and visible through this crisis.
For not putting a bag over her face doing press conferences. She needs to get slapped in the face. Her and Governor Newsom.
Pictures have come out showing the governor sitting down at this table in this room called the boardroom, as seen on the French Laundry restaurant's website.
It don't look like they serve my kind up in there. Broke niggas.
Governor Newsom is seen sitting with members of multiple different households, all without masks.
He even apologized a day before the pictures came out.
And I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down, I should have stood up and walked back, got in my car, and drove back to my house.
Shoulda, woulda, motherfucking coulda, but you didn't.
And you can quibble about the guidelines, et cetera, but the spirit of what I'm preaching all the time was contradicted, and I got to own that. And so I want to apologize to you because I need to preach.
Next! Nigga, no you don't. Who in the hell you think you is? Joel Osteen?
If you look at the cases that have come to the attention of the medical authorities in China, and you just do the math is about 2%. If you look at certain age groups, certain risk groups, the fatality is much higher.
I wonder what fatality can happen to my baby mama where the percentages is much higher. Then me and my hitman can come up with a different plan based on scientific data. Next! Remember when Joe Biden tried to have a 100-day TikTok challenge?
One of our 100-day challenges is asking the American people to mask up for the first 100 days, the next 99 days.
I guess that challenge didn't catch on. Next! You should have had a rap song and a dance to it.
We should be talking about, depending on the continuation of the spread of the virus, we should be thinking about making it mandatory.
How could you enforce that?
Shit, eventually they're going to try to inject people with the Trump juice forcefully. Hell, they're already doing it with the mask mandate. Next is the Trump juice.
And are you going to publicly call on them? Should they institute a vaccine passport type system, or it's up to each city and state to figure that out on their own?
I'm sorry, we're just...
Nigga, you heard what he said. Next!
What we're starting to see now in the Southern Hemisphere, in Southern Africa, and in the Southern Hemisphere countries is that we're having cases that are appearing as they go into their winter season. And if, in fact, they have a substantial outbreak, it will be inevitable that we need to be prepared that we'll get a cycle around the second time.
We on the damn third or fourth cycle right now. Alpha, Beta, Charlie, Denver. What's next? Fredo. If they could, they would force the Trump juice inside people.
Well, you couldn't. That's the problem. Just like you can't enforce measles. You can't come to school unless you have a measles shot. You know, you can't. But you can't say everyone has to do this.
Not yet. But you motherfuckers had a plan the whole time.
What does that mean for us and what we're doing? It totally emphasizes the need to do what we're doing in developing a vaccine, testing it quickly, and trying to get it ready so that we'll have a vaccine available for that next cycle.
Now they're talking about another cycle. Now, since Donald Trump been out of office, the Trump juices got out of control. They don't know what it mutated into being. Trump had the Trump juice for the first movie. I don't know who got the Trump juice for part 2. So they're going to make you drink the old Trump juice because the Trump juice for this movie don't fucking work.
But you would, just like you can't mandate a mask.
But you can say, you can go to every governor and get them all in a room, all 50 of them as president, and say, ask people to wear the mask. Everybody knows.
And if they don't?
We're going to cut your government funding because this is not a democracy.
Do you think that they should institute a vaccine passport type system or some sort of verification to use public spaces?
I don't think they need to do that. I think they just need to give the authority of those restaurants or businesses to say, in order to come in, you have to give proof that you've been vaccinated or you can't come in.
Wait a minute, nigga, ain't that a passport? You mean to tell me a motherfucker can vote without an ID, but you can't go into McDonald's without a motherfucking passport? Nigga, please. That is un-American.
In addition, to do the randomized controlled trials of drugs so that we will have a menu of drugs that we have shown to be effective and shown to be safe. Because I know we'll be successful in putting this down now, but we really need to be prepared for another cycle.
A menu of drugs? You mean a menu like the menu at Baskin-Robbins 31 flavors?
There was an expectation that you would be announcing again new vaccines to the world today, other than the ones you promised. Are you ready to send more vaccines to the world? And there is a delegation from the White House going to Brazil tomorrow. Are they bringing more vaccines? Are they announcing more vaccines to Brazil?
Damn, that reminds you of a teacher when you was in grade school. Don't bring no candy unless you got enough candy for everybody.
Are they announcing more vaccines overall?
Overall, and then to Brazil, to the delegation coming to Brazil tomorrow, we will be bringing vaccines.
And evidently, we got enough candy for everybody. Next!
And they don't, no, not fine. Then I go to every governor, I go to every mayor, I go to every councilman, I go to every local official, say, mandate the mask. Say, this is what you have to do when you're out.
Or else your ass can't come out unless you got a shot, a hall pass, or a couple of football helmets on.
So if you have a physical covering with one layer, you put another layer on, it just makes common sense that it likely would be more effective. And that's the reason why you see people either double masking or doing a version of an N95.
Or with 3 different football helmets on your damn face, complete with goggles.
You have mucosa in the nose, mucosa in the mouth, but you also have mucosa in the eye. And that's one of the things that, theoretically, you should protect all the mucosal surfaces. So if you have goggles or an eye shield, you should use it.
Or if you have a plastic bag, you can also use it. It will guarantee to keep the virus out and also the air.
I mean, it's not universally recommended, but if you really want to be complete, you should probably use it.
And if you ever want to get rid of the Trump juice forever, use the bag.
These new CDC guidelines that were announced this week advise no gatherings of more than 10 people for the next 15 days. You've said we can do anything for 15 days, but give it to us straight. Isn't this going to be longer than 15 days? How long do you think people should expect to be at home, essentially?
I thought having monkey sex was only going to last 15 minutes, but it looked like that shit is lasting a lifetime.
Well, what you're talking about is our 15 days to stop the spread initiative. We're telling people that we really want them to avoid gatherings of 10 or more. We want them to avoid any unnecessary travel. We want them to work from home if at all possible, or not go in.
Or don't go to work at all. His football helmet's den and his hallway passes now.
Our goal, which I believe we can accomplish, is to get the hotspot places, the New Yorks, the New Jersey, and help them to get around that curve.
So we can throw their ass a fastball.
Now, the 15 days that we had of mitigation clearly have had an effect.
So with the next slider.
But the reason why we feel so strongly about the necessity of the additional 30 days is that now is the time, whenever you're having an effect, not to take your foot off the accelerator and on the brake, but to just press it down on the accelerator.
With another curveball.
And that's what I hope and I know that we can do over the next 30 days.
Now your ass is struck out. Next!
Today, we'll be signing additional executive action to extend masking requirements on interstate travel, like on trains, planes, and buses.
His football helmet's den and his hallway passes now.
John, I don't think we're going to see lockdowns. I think we have enough of the percentage of people in the country, not enough to crush the outbreak, but I believe enough to not allow us to get into the situation we were in last winter.
But enough where your ass will have to have an ID so your ass can go shopping at Walmart.
We've not seen a comparable rise in hospitalizations or deaths in most areas of the country. That's because 165 million Americans are fully vaccinated, including 80% of the most vulnerable Americans, our seniors.
Well, why don't we get the other 20% of the most vulnerable and call it a day?
Doctor, we can get into many things in detail, but simply put, so people understand, why is COVID going up right now? And is President Biden correct to say this is chiefly now an epidemic of the unvaccinated?
I want to be crystal clear about what's happening in the country today. We have a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
And if your black ass is watching, that means your black ass. You are the un-Trump juiced.
So when the president says this is a situation of an outbreak and a pandemic of the unvaccinated, that's what he does mean. Even though some vaccinated people do get infected, they generally do well.
Well, it's also a pandemic of the motherfucker who got Trump juiced too, because they still out here turning motherfuckers into zombies.
That means if you're unvaccinated, you are much more likely to, 1, get COVID-19, 2, get hospitalized, and 3, die if you get it.
All of them sound like bad choices. You ain't got an option D.
But about 90 million Americans are eligible for vaccines and still haven't gotten their first shot.
Well, niggas in Chicago is taking 5 shots at one time, literally.
And we're seeing real results. In the past 2 weeks, we've seen a 55% increase in the average number of new people getting vaccinated every day.
So the scare tactics worked.
Whereas the unvaccinated, who have a much, much, much greater chance of getting infected in the first place, are the ones that are vulnerable to getting severe illness that might lead to hospitalization and, in some cases, deaths.
In some cases, not all cases, you forgot to mention that.
And I announced some tough, sometimes unpopular steps to keep people safe and our economy strong. All federal workers must report their vaccination status or be subject to strict requirements.
Or a possible termination of your job.
So we're looking not, I believe, to lockdown, but we're looking to some pain and suffering in the future because we're seeing the cases go up.
Pain and suffering, we've been through a whole year of pain and suffering. It ain't no pain and suffering like a lockdown. So the only thing you can be talking about when you're talking about pain and suffering is a motherfucking lockdown.
I also directed the Pentagon to look at adding COVID-19 to the list of vaccinations that are required for our troops, because the others are required.
I wonder if the Chinese army is drinking Trump juice.
Vaccinate America and help vaccinate the world. That's how we're about to beat this thing.
What if the world don't want Trump juice? You gonna force it on them too?
Many dying from COVID-19, they're asking, Doc, can I get the vaccine? The doctors has to look them in the eye and say, no, sorry, too late.
Plus, I looked at your voter registration. You're a conservative.
You just said there's no wall high enough and no ocean wide enough to protect us from the virus.
Ain't no wall high enough. Ain't no ocean wide enough to keep immigrants from swimming to you.
Any American that is infected because Joe's not enforcing the laws of this country, you can blame Joe Biden. And if you die, I would put the blame on him, too.
Well, not my baby mama. That's what I paid my hitman to do, not Joe Biden. But if Joe Biden can go ahead and handle that business for me, I'll go ahead and shoot him a stimulus check.
People are dying, and Joe Biden doesn't care. Kids are getting assaulted, sexually assaulted, raped, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris don't care.
That's because Joe Biden's son got most of them trapped in a basement.
We've had over 1 million illegal immigrants in the last 6 months under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and they don't care. You take the city of McAllen, releasing 7,000 illegal immigrants into McAllen, all of whom are positive with
Trump juice. We can't say the V word. The algorithm might pick it up.
And I put that in perspective. McAllen is a city, its population is about 141,000. That means 5% of the population of the city consists now of illegal immigrants who've tested positive for COVID that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are just dumping there one after the other because they won't enforce the law.
Because Hunter Biden will be under federal indictment.
These Democrats, they want to shut down your business. They want to shut down your church. They want to shut down your school. They want to force you to get mandated. And all of this is wrong.
No matter how much the Democrats say is right. Ain't that right, Maisha Greenwood? Black Barbie say, you can take that mandate and shove it up my baby mama ass.
For Americans, it's vaccine mandates, it's mask mandates, it's vaccine passports. But for Joe's illegal immigrant population, is no testing, high rates of
Trump juice. Sean Hannity, your ass can't say it on the channel either. Next!
And they try to portray it as an extreme choice. They say if you think people should have individual choice, then you don't believe in science and you want everyone to die.
Not everyone to die, just the one I hired my hitman to assassinate.
Which is the reason why we keep saying over and over again, the solution to this is get vaccinated, and this would not be happening.
Where in the hell is the science on that?
So what is the thinking behind letting untested and unvaccinated migrants cross the southern border into U.S. cities in record numbers?
Nigga, what? I'm out of here. So, Joe Biden, you not going to answer the question?
See y'all later.
Well, nigga, fuck you too. It is hot as hell up in here. Don't trip on the different outfits and the different positions of the camera and things like that. It took me 3 days to edit this video because I messed up on the first one. I know the sound may be rough in a couple of spots, but deal with it because it's too damn long to edit over. And if you want to send me a Cash App donation or a PayPal, this shit is down there on the link below. We want to keep this channel going. I got some good interviews coming up. I got Clay Clark coming up on my other channel. If you ain't subscribed, go to Black Rosebud, BLAQ Rosebud, and go hit that link, subscribe, and hit that video so you will be reminded when it come on. I got a big dinner event with a big time celebrity and stuff like that. It's top secret. Shh, I can't tell nobody. But I got a couple of things in the work. And those who are on my Patreon, this is my anniversary month for my 7-year anniversary. And guess what? I'm going to do my 7-year anniversary show on the 24th. So if you subscribe to my Patreon, I got a big show coming up. I got prize giveaways and all that. So stay tuned and hit the link below on the PayPal and the Cash App and the Zelle and some of that other shit that you consider donation on. I'm out this bitch, and stay off the Trump juice. It's a damn shame how they say Trump juice is killing everybody. We need motherfuckers to take Trump juice when it's the niggas that's not taking the Trump juice. What you trying to say? Niggas out here killing people with guns and Trump juice? We out here just committing genocide on everybody. Ain't that a bitch? Well, I'm out. Thank you, John Swigler. I'll be seeing you all in the live chat with your little jokey jokes. Good looking out.